You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Alright, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Couch Potatoes. I am Alex.
Morrison.
And no, we've not been just sitting around not recording episodes and shit. We've been recording things, but we can't release them yet because we're about to debut another show on the network. Yeah. And we just got to get that show out there, and then all the other episodes are going to make sense. So, hey, we're back again.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, at some point, we'll even have a bonus episode of this, and I've already listened through it. It was pretty fun, but it is with Chris, Mikey, and another one of the co-hosts you've been hearing a little bit on Triple C.
It was fucking exhausting.
Dante. Yeah, but y'all were exhausted, and I think one or two of y'all a little inebriated by that point. One of y'all drinking?
Oh, that's how do you say it? None of your fucking business.
There's your answer. Yeah, so there was a bit of inebriation and tiredness going on. So,
You powered through it like Michael Jordan in the fucking Game 6.
So at some point that's going to be coming out along with a bunch of other really fun things from that show. So yeah, we've been working, and Chris has also just been busy doing his thing, but we're finally back in Something Good Studios once again after our live stream. And that was pretty fun. If you guys want to check that out, go over to the Facebook page. The video quality is a little choppy, mainly because I just wasn't fully prepared, but we were just like, fuck it, let's do it anyway, because a listener of ours, Dustin, decided to send us a little care package in the mail. That included some interesting things that did not include wink. Something that we're going to be trying a little bit later on this episode is now going to be an ongoing taste test series, because he really hooked us up with some interesting flavored things.
He did.
And last week we tried the original Mountain Dew hard seltzer, and we still got three more to go through. And this one is the Mountain Dew Livewire.
I'm going to say I haven't had Livewire since about 2009. I knew exactly what the last time I had it was, because it's when they did it's before the re-release.
Okay.
So Livewire got, for the people who don't know, Mountain Dew Livewire was eliminated from the shelves at one point. All it was Mountain Dew Cold Red. And that was it. And then they did the whole blue, and then the black one, I think, was a big popular one.
Pitch black, yeah.
Yeah. Which tasted like Nerds candy.
I hated that one.
Yeah. But no, recently Livewire's been making a resurgence. Like, it's stocked pretty well at my work, actually. Like, they don't even sell red, man. They just sell Mountain Dew and orange. Like, yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be a wild taste because I haven't had it in a very long time.
Yeah, and again, as we've mentioned on the previous episodes, I am just not that much of a Mountain Dew fan, though I was rather upset that of all the different hard seltzers and everything else we've tried, that the Mountain Dew one was the least horrible.
It tasted like Mountain Dew.
I hated myself for admitting that it was not horrible.
I think it's because they use a different kind of alcohol.
And side note, for folks listening, this is a little bit of a deal for us, because if you go to the Hard Seltzer Mountain Dew website, you can't get this in North Carolina.
Not yet.
But no, the obligatory crack the seal. Oh yeah. I got immediately hit with like that orange smell right to the fucking dome. Oh yeah, I'm calling it now. This is going to be, side note, in the future, guys, we will have a video component to this. We don't expect you to just enjoy an audio medium of us taste testing stuff.
We'll start talking like this so you can enjoy it better.
But I will say this up front before even tasting it. The smell is giving me just orange soda, like alcoholic crush. See what I mean?
That is orange flavor right there.
That is like orange crush right there. This is going to be interesting. I'm not a... Yeah, we're 2 for 2 on this. I'm not a Mountain Dew fan or an orange soda fan, so...
Gin.
Let's see. Damn. I think Chris liked it. He just downed his entire glass.
Smooth chemical draw right there. Nope. I can't taste it.
Can't taste it. Your taste buds are up. I fucked up.
No, I can't taste the alcohol. It's too smooth.
Oh, I thought you were just saying you couldn't taste it in general.
Oh, no.
Well, here, hit you a little more.
I will say, the people that designed the can are tattoo artists.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm more upset that it didn't growl at me as soon as you cracked it open.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm really loving this one. I think I kind of like the...
It's not quite a creamsicle.
Yeah.
But it is a solid orange flavor. Like it is... It's not a crush, because the crush has got a little bit more...
You're right. The smell was giving it more than the actual flavor does.
And plus, by the way, guys, these are 0 sugar. Mm-hmm. So this is more a straight up soda flavor only kind of thing. No zip in it to get you right. But,
no zippity doo does.
Yeah, no sugar, but no, it's subtle. If I was to down the whole can like I just did this glass, I think I'd be pretty shit faced in about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Like, by the way, guys, these are tall boys. These are fucking tall boy cans.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. We've this is a solid. Let's see. Yep, 24 ounce.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are going to be dangerous.
Like, I'm going to go to work and go buy a live wire just to get that taste again and just see how close it really is. Because like I said, I haven't had one since 2009.
Well, the next 2 are the ones I'm looking forward to most. Next on the chopping block is going to be the watermelon flavor.
Yeah.
And then after that, save the best for last, the Baja Blast.
They didn't make a red one, did they?
They did not make a Code Red.
That's a popular drink at my work, actually, Code Red. Like I said, I haven't had Code Red in a very long time either. But Mountain Dew in general is, at some point, I know they changed the flavor.
Yeah. And
I haven't really been a big fan. I drank Sun Drop like an American.
Like a goddamn American.
Southerner. But no, that's not a bad drink, on a Saturday or on a Saturday evening, during a podcast. It's perfect fucking drink.
Fuck it.
It's better than that Cheerwine shit.
It didn't turn my mouth as bad as no, it's not as bad as that. But no, the orange isn't as offensive as I was thinking it was going to be.
Yeah, but like it's also one of those things where it's very smooth, which for me that can go a long way on a mixed drink.
Right.
It's not like, I will say this, I've gone to West Virginia and bought mixed drinks where I ordered a Crown and Coke, which will probably be the next thing I buy for us to try, is the Jack Daniel's Crown and Coke cans, because you can only buy them at a liquor store.
Yeah.
But they would pour me a glass of Crown and hand me a can of Coke and like, here you go. And it's like, that's a lot of Crown. And that's one can of Coke. Like, you didn't even bother to show it to the glass, you piece of shit. And this is like, granted, it was only $5. It's a deal. But like, fuck, dude. I can't, for someone who's not an experienced drinker, these are kind of nice, to be a little smooth, not have that horrible aftertaste, like a malt liquor, kind of like at the Bojangles hard tea or whatever. Like that had a very bad aftertaste. It's not like the cherry limeade one where it just tastes like a fucking light beer. Yeah. So yeah, I probably get a lot of shit for that too. It's like, well, you don't drink beer. But it's like, I don't fucking want to now because it tastes like shit.
No, and I'm to the point now where literally the last time I drank was on this podcast.
Yeah, it's the only time to drink.
Yeah, like literally the only time I ever drink now is on the show, just for these taste tests. And then like if I go out to a show, I might have like a drink or something. But no, it's like I'm not any sort of heavy drinker either. So it's like I'm not trying to impress anyone by drinking a Guinness or some specific beer. There's one beer I like, and that's it, and it's a Yingling. But even then, I had one like a few months ago, and I wasn't interested in having a second one. I was content with the one. So who knows? But yeah, Livewire, not as horrible as I was expecting it to be.
It's an 8 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Lubing us up for the rest of this episode. Again, mega shout out to Dustin for booting this on up here in one way or another.
We need to take a pack everybody in the car around Christmas time and just show up at his house, kick in the door. Merry Christmas, motherfucker! Let's do a drinking episode.
Oh, he would just be like, oh hell yeah,
eastbound and down.
No, we're definitely building. I already told him like a couple weeks ago that I was going to send him a package out, but then that was like before we got this. So it's like now that I've gotten this in, I kind of left them on red in that department of like not sending like a new thing, but at the same time, I'll go and say this on air. Dustin, you have an awesome care package coming your way. Like Chris and I are literally scheming, looking at different things, and we're getting a little care package together for you, buddy. Don't you worry. We appreciate this, and this does not go unnoticed. So thank you, brother. So nice little fun shout out to listeners. And side note, if anyone does want to send us anything, we're even kind of considering going through like maybe some weird snacks, because there's something that happened weird snack wise I want to bring up in the news segment that I might have to hunt down for us to do on this kind of show. But well, on that note, let's go ahead and move on over to our news segment. So weird food news. This is a real thing. I've already posted it in our Discord. Link is in the episode description. Sign up. This is a 100% real candy item. Skittles is doing a mustard flavored Skittle.
That might not be too bad. I like mustard, so I try it. You know what I would do though, just to be an asshole, I'd pour Skittles in a bowl with the mustard ones. And just put a little thing on the little paper that would you like to play a game, and maybe sprinkle in some like the Reese's M&Ms.
See, you were that asshole that would get like the big thing of jelly beans and then mix in a bunch of the Bean Boozled.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. This is licorice. What is this? Oh, that is Marilyn Monroe's vomit. Yeah, just drug-addled vomit.
That's not too far off. There is a vomit flavor.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting.
Yep, and like a diaper flavor.
Yeah.
They were my ex-in-laws. For some reason, like 2 or 3 years in a row, got me Bean Boozled. I don't know why, but it's
I would just take like a whole fucking handful of them.
Well, it's like they got like it was the same one almost every time. I guess they had. In hindsight, they probably just had a fucking stash of them up in the fucking cabinet, and they were just like, give that kid one of them. But it's like the first year I got them, it was like, cool, and it came like in this tin, and it's like you flick the thing, and you eat however many it says, and it's kind of like a game. And then it happened the second year, and it was like a pack of like 3, but without like the tin, like as a refill. And I'm like, okay, cool. Dead ass on the third one, the day of, I turned to her, I was like, how much you want to bet we're getting Bean Boozled again this year? She's like, no, not again. Sure as shit, that was in one of the fucking boxes. It's like, you've got to be kidding. I threw out so many boxes of jelly beans, it was unreal.
Some people like just go hard on that kind of stuff when it comes to like, I could tell you exactly which everyone tastes like. And I get it is a gimmicky thing, and there's a lot of like compound and stuff, science behind it. But yeah, I do like the gimmicky ones, but when it's not that extreme.
Yeah.
So a mustard flavored Skittle would be kind of fun.
I'll hunt them down. Hopefully 7-Eleven has it, because there's a 7-Eleven like right down the road, and I visit that one often. If 7-Eleven or Harris Teeter doesn't ever carry it, I won't see it.
Some of those stuff are like, it's kind of like the Thanksgiving sodas. You ever seen Jones sodas, where it's just like some weird goddamn flavor? It's like, ooh, turkey dinner in the can.
Only at Target.
It's like, God damn it. Fucking nasty motherfuckers.
Not necessarily news, because again, with the writers and actors strike, there's not a whole lot of news, but this couldn't really cover our full main segment. But I finally saw the new Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, what'd you think, man?
Yeah, so we can kind of go into a little bit of spoiler talk on this, because, we could do a little bit of a play-by-play. Who knows? Maybe around Halloween we'll do a double feature, because did we ever talk about the the new Evil Dead movie as a couch potatoes?
No, but I think a good Halloween episode would probably be a review of all the horror movies this year, because they are fantastic.
There you go. But no, I think we could even dedicate like a whole episode as a double feature to like the Evil Dead that came out like 10 years ago.
2013 and
then this one. So again, spoiler talk. If you don't want to hear it, just fast forward a little bit. You're a big boy. You know how to do these things. Big girl, big person, whatever. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as the 2013 one.
No, because the 2013 one has a lot of nostalgia feel to it, but it also is just non-stop terrifying.
Yeah.
This one I really liked because, one, we changed the setting. One, we changed the group dynamic. And 3, we do get
1 and 3.
Yeah, but like that last little bit, though, we get the cabin setting in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you know, spoiler alert, it all comes back around again.
Yeah.
Which I kind of liked. You know, that was a good setup. And it did have that kind of feel from 2013, the very beginning of let's make people very uncomfortable very quickly.
Yeah.
And it is a hardcore opener, and fuck, you know, for an Evil Dead opener, it's just as good.
Scalpings.
Yeah, it's just like it was kind of fucked up because, you know, compared to the 2013 one was cock the bitch, you know, knock her out, she wakes up in a basement, and then this and this and this happens, and then you realize, oh shit, no, she deserved all this.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this one was it opens up the girl, a random girl's just sick in a bed, and that gave me a cabin fever kind of feel. And I'm like, okay, are we going balls deep like immediately? These are our 3 people. Like if I hadn't seen a preview, you would think this is what it's about. And when she starts reading Wuthering Heights, and if you've ever read that book, it is kind of a scary beginning, and she's like, let me in, let me in. And it's just like, oh fuck, because the girl is like dead on the bed saying what the girl is reading on the other side, and it's like, yeah, that's a good uncomfortable feeling that's new to horror a little bit. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Way to open it. And yeah, it's a good opener.
Oh yeah, definitely. I really don't have any major negatives with it. I watched it with my girl, and some she kind of pointed out that I didn't notice immediately, but she's kind of got a point. The acting in it was not great.
No, but I think it's supposed to. It's not like it's not great, or, you know, it's not supposed to be perfect, but it is.
But like the dialogue scenes leading up to all the horror before the evil is unleashed in the book, like everyone's just like normal acting and like interactions with each other. I do agree they were a little off.
So when you Ari Aster had talked about this in an interview, talking about when you're doing a horror movie, if you're going to do something very unsettling, is to make the actors feel like normal people. Mm-hmm. So you want to downplay the beginning parts of it. You're not trying to do like an A24 fucking Midsommar or Hereditary where everyone's just tense all the fucking time. But like, you want to make sure that people are like, okay, these are normal-esque people. Let's give them that you know, soap opera acting, that just blase talk, and that way when shit hits the fan, we can really see them turn. Because the whole point of Evil Dead movies since like the Sam Raimi days were always, we need to make people go nuts.
Yeah.
Like, make it to look like, yeah, they probably make it out of it. Bruce Campbell will probably be okay, but he will go crazy and need to be killed.
And it was also very effective because once you get into the movie, there were 2 things that I was sitting here going, are they going to do this? Are they going to do this? Which created a good viewing experience because you're almost expecting a certain thing to happen. Yeah. And the intensity of like, oh, it might, it's like just walking around each corner thinking you're about to get spooked. 2 things I thought that were going to happen. One wasn't freaking me out as much. It was more or less kind of exciting me. I was really hoping the girl was going to turn.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Demon Little Girl.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for that. And the entire time I was like, oh no, she's going to become the demon. This is going to get sad, but this is going to be kind of cool. And second thing, I legit, and this was probably going to be the one time I even diverted my eyes because everyone just has their little limits. I legit thought she was about to dig into that stomach and grab the baby.
Yeah.
And that was going to be one of those like, oh, that's a line. I don't want to see that kind of thing. So it's like, I was even prepping, like the head was getting ready to turn and then it like diverted quick. I was like, but I think that was tense.
For me, that's what makes it a great movie.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm giving it props for.
Yeah, it just like, it wants to, like, we're going to do so much heinous shit that your mind is going to be like, this is the limit. And if it reaches that limit, I'm going to have to turn away.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I had that problem where it was just like,
you are a lot more desensitized than I am.
And now it's just like, no, dig it the fuck out. Take it, revive it from hell and show it to her. Like, do it. Yeah, show her whole life to her. Her hair turns white out of fear, and do that. Yeah, go ahead. Because nowadays I don't give a fuck. But there were points in the movie where they did a lot of, kind of like in The Last Jedi, where they took a lot of leaps and bounds on the IP. And this you can.
Yeah.
One was killing a lot of people in the apartment building. Fantastic. That is something
that was
you
really
really
cool.
needed to do. The mom, the matriarch of the family, or the older sister, basically.
Yeah.
Fantastic, scary. Like, she has the look. The way they made her look, she is kind of a very thin woman anyway, but like she's got that like classic old 1920s look kind of beauty. But then you turn it and make it dark and vicious. Yeah, that's legitimately fucking scary. The smile itself was perfect. The creepy smile. My only problem with this movie was the CGI effects could have been more practical and looked better, but that's my only problem with the movie.
Yeah,
like
I would
the vomiting
agree.
blood, where it's just it's CGI, and then then it switches to practical effects. Yeah, the 2013 one did a lot more with practical effects.
Yeah,
and I think it was probably,
I think mainly because it had a little bit more to prove.
Yeah, I think they had Sam Raimi's advice a lot more in that movie, because he did have a more hands-on approach on that one than this one. But this one keeps the IP alive.
Oh yeah,
it's a great addition.
Like if the one from 10 years ago was a 10, this would be like an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, it's a solid B. It's a great movie. It's a great horror movie for 2023. Fantastic. They have, like I've said this before, the newest horror movies out of 2021, 22, and 23 have really been knocking it out of the park.
It's a new era for horror.
And even like reboots, a couple of them have been fantastic. There are some that are just shit in the bed, kind of. But like we're getting a really good kind of standout performance, and what I hate is like they're not getting recognized.
Right.
There are a lot of good movies out, but it's just like, oh, we have Fame. This is going to be the Margot Robbie movie. Blah blah blah. No, it sucks. Let's watch the Barbie movie instead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
yeah, Barbenheimer. But this is what I hate about people in horror movies, is like they don't give them the props they deserve. Like the acting, is kind of blasé in some of these, but
the writing,
they should get an Oscar for this kind of stuff.
Special effects,
and they don't get it ever. The last one was The Exorcist, and I'm just like, there's so many much more better horror movies since then. Yeah, that could have been an Oscar-worthy movie in some aspect, but never got anything. So yeah, I'm really hoping Hollywood fails with all the rest of their stuff except for horror, because this one is just another notch on the bedpost for really good movies of 2023 overall.
Yeah, and I would have to say probably my number one gripe with the movie is probably my same gripe I had with the other 2013 movie. The fucking reasonings for digging up that fucking book and the records. It's just like, I have yet to see a movie that gives me a good reason for stealing this item.
That's the great thing about horror movies. Reasoning goes out the window as soon as that music starts playing in the beginning and the fucking credits start rolling in the beginning, because nothing has to make sense.
No, and I'm saying that partly, Joe.
I know, but that's the best part. Hey, let's dig up the book in the cellar of a creepy cabin filled with dead cats hanging from barbed wire from the roof, and then grab this book that's wrapped in garbage bags and barbed wire, like a terrible unboxing video, and let's fuck with it.
Yeah, and like in this new one, hey, we found this really weird religious temple buried underneath our apartment.
And this one actually has a better reason to fucking open with it, because he's just trying to open it. It's testing you to try to open it. Yeah. Now I got to know. Like why is it?
Called me a bitch.
He called me a bitch. And then what's cool about this one is the book needs blood to open. And it's very subtle, and going into the lure of the Evil Dead, now we know, because listening to those records, it's a priest that buried this goddamn thing, and you can hear like a conference of priests was like, no, that's a dumb idea, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. And he's like, this is one of three. And so that kind of canonizes the whole movie as this is book 2, 2013 is probably book 3, and Bruce Campbell, he found the first one. And now we all know that there's 3 Necronomicons running around that do different things. Mm-hmm. Each one is worse than the other one. So now we've got a good universe to build on Sam Raimi's idea. So like, it really added to the story, and not in a negative way, which happens in horror movies. Like the Children of the Corn movies is like, I get it, this kid is in corn, but like you can only write so much about kids in corn. But
it's corn.
It's corn. It's just like an adult can show up and kill all of you because you're children. It's not that hard. You ever hit a kid? It's easy as fuck. They're just right there.
But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I encourage anybody to go watch it.
100%. And we would not be a movie, TV show centered podcast if we didn't give an honorable mention to congratulations to Barbie and Oppenheimer, both fucking killing it in the box office.
Good. I'm happy because this is the kind of stuff that we need. We need fun movies. We need informational movies. And we need to come out at the same time. Because you need a reason to go to the theater, and this was a perfect reason.
And you could not find a more polar opposite fan base either. A history war type movie and a sugary bubblegum cotton candy pop culture movie. Complete opposites of each other.
One is about,
but a weird connection with glitter.
Yeah, I'll get to that. But like, so you have one that is just like the basis of structure of society and what it means to have power, and the other one's
other is Oppenheimer.
Yeah, and the other one's Oppenheimer. So like, both of these things were introduced to Japan in a detrimental way. But what people I don't think realize about Oppenheimer is it's a lot about him, not so much the nuclear bomb. It plays a big part of it because that is something he helped build, and with that there's a sadness to the part of the movie because the way Christopher Nolan films it, he films it in black and white on the darker scenes, where it's the story after the bomb about Oppenheimer. So like, if anybody knows the history, but he kind of gets railroaded in history at the tail end of his life, and they go after him and stuff like that, and ruin his life. They ruin this man's life who helped end World War II, and Barbie ruined society. No, but it is like the second most recognized toy of all time. So. Yeah. It's a fun bubblegum pop movie, and that's what people need to see. So, like, if I'm going to the movie theater, I'm going to go see both.
A buddy of mine I was working with tonight, he said that his friend asked him if he had seen Oppenheimer, and he was just like, yeah, man, it was really good. He goes, is there a post-credit scene? And he goes, yeah, we're living it.
Yeah.
We're living the post-credit scene, dumbass.
Yeah, very serious. I'll probably talk about it on the history podcast of the effects of that, because it's an arguable and debatable thing. Should America have done it? But that's for a whole new podcast. But yeah, like I said, like you said, polar opposites. This is what it needs. This glittery, happy style movie that does have has a deep message for adults.
Yeah.
But it's still a fun movie.
I haven't seen any spoilers for it, but I am upset that my mild prediction didn't come true, or at least it doesn't seem as if, where it's like the third act gets like ultra meta and like semi-serious. But it doesn't seem like it necessarily goes down that deep of a path.
Friends I know have went and seen it already, said it's a fun movie. It's not bad. It doesn't have a ultra feminist kind of thing. It's not a man hating movie like some people are saying.
I was gonna say that's what I've been reading too.
He's like, look, it's a bubblegum movie. That'd be really fun. You could take your kids to go see it. They're not going to understand a lot of the jokes, but it's also written by Greta Gerwig, who is like a hardcore comedian.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she makes fantastic movies. So like, but yeah, it's let's take Barbie, this fantastical toy, and turn it into what would be like if she wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Even Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer, talked about like how serious this movie is, and they asked him like, "Hey, are you excited for Oppenheimer?" In an interview, he's like, "Well, yeah, I'm going to see Barbie first." It's just like, yeah, he needs to. He needs to lighten his goddamn brain from fucking working for Christopher Nolan, and it's worth a double feature. I think this is something that the theaters could really start doing now, is taking movies that are just too diametrically opposite of each other and double featuring them for people. Because if I'm going to a movie and I get really down because of watching it, because of how serious it is, yeah, I would like a pop movie to come up next with it. Yeah, so, but you go into the glitter thing.
Yeah. Tell me about the glitter.
So the weird connection between these two movies on a scientific level was the U.S. government created glitter because it's shiny and very microbial, is great for packaging plutonium in its raw form, which is a highly radioactive substance. And so glitter, like Velcro and other stupid inventions we use every day, was created for the military for some weird nefarious purpose. So yeah, if you like glitter, guys, you could think nuclear science.
And that's a weird way that everything connects together.
If you like Hello Kitty, think a nuclear scientist. They wouldn't have came up with that shit without dropping 2 bombs on them.
And actually, one last piece of news: the Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons is now available on the Nintendo Switch.
I'm kind of excited for those because those are really fun games that really play onto each other. It's one of those. It's like a double feature game, like it plays into
playing on our theme of double feature.
Yeah, but those games came out at the same time, just like the Pokemon games, and
right.
What
was the major difference between the two?
Oracle of Seasons was dungeon heavy, if I'm correct, and Oracle of Ages was puzzle heavy.
Okay,
but it was the same map, just played differently almost. And it was kind of paired with the Minish Cap, which is another game that came around that time.
Yep,
and it just added a lot of cool features, a lot of really fun stuff to do in the games, which kind of play into how Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are. They're very similar games, but they're telling the same story into a continuation. So, like, Zelda's very story heavy, and I think that draws in a lot of Nintendo fans who didn't buy PlayStations or Xboxes because you had Final Fantasy and those kind of games. This one was the one RPG where the story could keep going and going and going, and it still be new and fresh. Yeah. So that was the big point about Oracle Ages and Oracle Seasons was, let's keep it fresh with a whole new story. And that kind of played on later on with Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and then the new Game Boy games, which came later, which were Spirit Tracks. And you had Wind Waker for the GameCube. And then you had their best fucking Game Boy game of all time, which was Link Between Worlds, which was a whole new story on an old map of Link to the Past, which is probably the top 5 greatest SNES games of all time. So yeah, like, they don't really make a bad game. Like, there are a lot of people that rank them and how bad they are, but overall they're not bad games.
Right.
Like, I could do a S to F tier, and there'll be some F tier, but guess what? Those F tiers, I'll still play the fuck out of them.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of like Mario. I can't really think of a really bad Mario game that I hate. Like, I mean, legitimately, like, I cut it on, fuck, and throw it away. Like,
no, I can't think of one that bad.
When I think of F tier, I'm thinking I can't get through one level.
Yeah.
I will say I haven't played Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
I haven't played some of the newer Mario games, but if they're half as good as Galaxy was, yeah,
they're at least that good. The only one I would get really close to putting in F tier, but it would just always automatically
Mario 64. Yeah,
fuck you.
Why I just do like
probably the second Mario game. The one that wound up just being a reskin of that Japanese game, and it just kind of is a little bit off. That's the one I just
because it's a Japanese game is why it's a little off.
Well, no, just off because of like the character models and like that was like the birth of Birdo and shit, and that like Birdo was not initially a Mario character; it came from that other game. But that or the first Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo. That's another one I just usually do not revisit. It just does not control well.
Yeah, well, people my age are big into that one. But I think a lot of that's due to like Mario 64 just kind of redoing the whole controls.
Yeah.
And making it more fun.
That was a lot more my generation console.
But the other thing you gotta look at too is like the only other racing game at that time was F-Zero.
That was fun.
And F-Zero is fun because it's super goddamn fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario Kart for the SNES isn't super fucking fast.
No.
And there's no neon lights and techno music playing in the background until Rainbow Road. So like,
no, F-Zero is definitely the superior racing game for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, but yeah, so like that's how I feel about the Zelda game. Like overall, I could do a we could probably do a fistful of quarters if I had somebody that played a lot of them. That would be kind of a fun probably episode.
Yeah.
Just go over the storylines of each one.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-part 2-hour series on Tears of the Kingdom I will be doing by myself probably with a Muppet. Hey, Chris,
tell him, Chris.
it was good. It was so fucking good. That's right, Saki. It was fucking good. Just take a fucking hit of Saki.
Saki.
Yeah.
I like
Saki
that.
with Saki.
I love that.
It's just the man's schizophrenic idea is just swirling down the drain while he talks to a sock.
Someone draw that Chris with a sock with a little title underneath it. Saki.
What do you
with
think about the
Saki.
aliens in Congress, Saki? It's a fallacy. Yeah. Oh, dudes, real quick. I'll bring it up through a Triple C episode of the future. But some guy whistleblowed that the government's been lying to us about aliens for the last 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And he didn't present any physical evidence. Yeah, maybe
Trust
you
me,
should,
bro.
Yeah, trust me, bro is not a good thing to say in Congress at any point in history. I got you is like the same as asking a buddy for a ride in like from work. It's just like,
Yeah, so
I got you.
I saw the pertinent clip that was about like maybe 8 minutes long, and it was the whole thing.
We got a lot of new words.
We have the evidence, but I can't share it publicly. I can share it in private with Congress.
Yeah, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Which kind of defeats the purpose of whistleblowing. But
Like, I have a secret to tell the world. Shh, come here. Tell me first. Tell me
I'll
first.
tell you first, and then it becomes a game of telephone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tell me
what did
first.
you hear? He said JFK committed suicide.
Tell me first, and I'll tell you if you can tell everyone else.
Yeah. This goes out to the rabbit hole of conspiracy. It's rampling a bunch of people up. It became a lot of memes.
Yeah.
Which are fun. Hey, are we getting the alien from aliens, or are we getting the MIB aliens? Because everybody's like, I really fucking hope it's the MIB ones. Like,
It's just Mars attacks.
it's just Mars attack. Oh, god damn it! What the worst future? But he basically brought up UAPs, unidentifiable aerial craft or whatever, and he said there were non-human biological pilots and non-terrestrial spacecraft. So he basically said we found an alien in a UFO. That's that. And we've been lying to you about it for 20, 30, 40 years. Okay. Can you show it? Well, no.
Not right now.
So you wasted my time. This is another thing that you guys are ruining. You're distracting me from something important I need to focus on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the banking collapse. Maybe it could be the fact that, Hollywood is trying to destroy, copyright laws in general. But that's a whole new thing. But tell me more about this alien that you saw. Only you. And only you are the whistleblower on, you fucking asshole.
So you don't think anything else big is going to come from it?
I think it's a lot of conjecture until we actually see something. That's the problem with the government hiding stuff. Is like when we actually see the evidence of it, that's when it's big. Like the Tulane tests, that's real. Using radioactive material on mentally challenged people. Yeah, that was a real thing. Guess what? It wasn't until someone showed you the evidence of it. Operation Northwoods. Yeah, it was real when we saw the actual fucking papers for it. MK Ultra was real when we saw the papers for it. It wasn't fucking thought police and, psychics or anything. No, it was throwing people out of fucking windows after they were high on LSD. That's the real part of it. But this is the problem I have with conspiracy, which I bring up on the show, is like there's truth, and then we have people add to it that gets rid of the truth part of it, and now it just becomes a fucking lie.
Well, this part isn't going to dive too much into what you'd probably want to do on the episode, just more or less say opinion. Let's say this guy's for real.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Let's say he's for real. And Congress is like, you know what? Fuck it, Bill. Tell them. Show them. Tell them all. Do you think, not we, as in you, I, and the folks that listen to this show and, everything else, but the mass public, do you think the public is ready for information that we are not alone?
We're in a perfect spot for this to be released. Because half of the people are going to be like, oh, this is some fake shit the government's trying to use to distract you. Blah, 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 blah. And the other half's like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. We're finally learning more about them, and we're on a dawn of a new period. So, yeah,
So
we're in a perfect spot for that.
I could see that maybe like for the first like few days.
But when people start realizing that it is real,
like when things fully sit in, like, and even like the staunch non-believers have to face the fact that it's real.
I think
this is something that's going to be unequivocally proven in this, scenario.
If they come out with actual evidence where we see them, and it's irrefutable evidence,
like I said, this is a what if scenario.
I think some people are going to panic. I think some cults are going to be kind of revitalized a little bit. They're like, yeah, he was fucking right.
We fucking knew it. We fucking
get my Nikes. Honey, get my Nikes.
Tin foil sale is about to go through the fucking roof.
Yeah, and then it's going to be a fire sale on economic policy for the rest of the decade. So, yeah, I think it'll be.
Do you think we immediately try to take charge and gain dominance over airspace?
Not really do that now.
Well, I'm talking about like at a higher level, because I know right now we have a cutoff in both longitude and latitude.
So, yeah, we do have a space cutoff when it comes to satellites and shit. So I really hope it doesn't go down the route of someone like Elon Musk getting involved, or Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos. I don't want them involved.
God, I could see Elon getting involved right now.
I would hope
busting in with his fucking leather duster jacket.
He gets killed immediately. I would hope that in this hypothetical that the U.S. government would probably come out and say, hey, yeah, we know this is, we actually have a collective of aerospace technology between a handful of countries who do dominate the skies, U.S., India, Britain, France, whoever, who have space programs, who have something in place.
I mean, I've actually got a transcript. I've got a little audio piece here. Biden has already said something about it, and he's just like, well, if they wound up having something,
have a dog.
When it's with my dog, he likes going outside some, so,
This is really, I really want the vice president to talk. This is the part where I want Kamala Harris to actually open her fucking mouth.
All right, motherfuckers, listen up.
Just pulls a gun out. I've had this since I was a cop. Puts it on the goddamn dais. He's like, everyone needs to buy these right fucking now. Actually, we're getting rid of all gun laws. Everyone grab one immediately. Aim for the head.
According to this whistleblower, no weapon that the government possesses would be strong enough for these extraterrestrial beings.
I guess we'll find out if he's telling the truth, honestly, because that's the only problem I have with this guy. I need actual proof, not conjecture.
So you don't feel like he is providing proof behind the closed doors?
No, I do believe aliens exist. I do believe we may have contacted one at one time, but that's the end of it.
Yeah. Do you think this could be the documents of that?
Could be. It could be the fact. It could be that, hey, Roswell was a hoax, but later on there was actual something that happened. This, at this point, it is conjecture until we know more, and that's what I hate about this kind of story, is because now it's just going to fuel the fire of anti-government sentiment and societal amalgamation. I'm trying to think of the best word for it, but this is going to hinder a lot of things in the long run.
I could see that.
So I don't know. Put some fucking pokers up his ass and make him tell him everybody. Just
do it the old-fashioned way.
Take him out back and beat him with the hose. That's the old way of doing things, and that worked that worked in the 50s.
Well, do we have any other news topics to go over?
Universal tried to play some some old school union busting activities with the SAG-AFTRA people. Oh, yeah? I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
They targeted an area of protest where they were protested under these trees, and Universal thought it'd be a good idea to go ahead and prune them trees in the middle of July.
Damn.
And guess what? That's not their trees. It was a city of Los Angeles trees. And this isn't actually an old union busting trick from back in the day.
Yeah.
I will say, granted, back in the day, the old way of dealing with union busters was kill union members. That was the old way of doing things, but this is a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
They didn't kill nobody, but they were actively trying to participate in giving people heat stroke. So, yeah, and, with the rising, temperatures, I don't know if anybody's been outside in the last 2 days. It's a cool 85 at midnight. When we pulled up,
he's not far off.
I pulled up my fucking, my car tells me the temperature. When we pulled up, it was 82 fucking degrees outside.
It's 79 right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
California, I can imagine it's a little hot during the
Little
day.
warm, little
but I'm holding
toasty.
a picket sign, along with Adam Conover in it, and fucking.
Yelling at phones every 2 seconds.
Yeah, but I will say though, there's kind of a great thing to see is like you're seeing the bigger actors
Yeah.
get involved with these protests who don't have a horse and dog in the fight, basically, because they've made their money.
Yeah.
And this is
But they also realize without good writers, they have nothing to say on screen.
but it's also like the background characters too, because a big part of the Screen Actors Guild getting involved was they're scanning the faces and bodies of extras and recycling them as background characters.
Yep, extras.
And this is a big part of that. So I'm glad seeing the bigger people step up for the people that are lower on the totem pole.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and
Ryan Cranston even got in it.
oh yeah, just fucking fire and brimstone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I like seeing that. That's what the union is. We make this, you just produce it. And in fact, when you make a movie just from producer only, from like committee, they're terrible movies.
We've seen that a lot over the last couple of years.
Patton Oswalt recently appeared on a thing where he was interviewed about it, and he talked about, he's like, the Star Wars movies. He's like, you have a fan base that is large and wide. You're not going to make everyone happy.
Right.
Force Awakens, as much as I love the movie, this is what he says, as much as I love the movie, people are criticizing, oh, it's just Star Wars over. He's like, yeah, it is, but it's still the best one of that.
Yeah.
Of this new series from Disney. And yeah, he's right. They just fun. And Ryan Johnson, who tried to play, tried some new things with Last Jedi, which were fun. And then the fans were just like, no, fucking no. And plus, people forget Ryan Johnson was under the gun.
Yeah.
He had a time limit. And so when you put people under time limits, movies come out convoluted and, very.
And then Rise of Skywalker was like
movie by
literally a movie by
and he
committee.
says that. He said, and this is what you get. He's like, this is what happens when, you let people with creative ideas go and create movies by committee, and you get these hated, vitriolic movies. And
but then there's also weird cases it comes all the way around and works. One case being Emperor's New Groove. That was a movie by committee, because there's a really interesting documentary about it on YouTube. I forget the exact name of it, but you could look it up just by looking those keywords. And it shows how what the start of the movie with storyboards, voice acting, everything, after like maybe the second or third review, they were like, yeah, no, scrap the whole thing. Start over.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? They're like, yeah, I mean, we may be like 10% of this, but the only things we like are the main character, he's okay, and we like your llama. How about we turn the main character into the llama? It's like, okay, but that doesn't fit the parable that we're trying to, create. We'll work it out, or we're gonna pass.
Yeah, that's your 1 in 100 shot, and that's fine.
But then it's like, and every time they brought something in, no, change this, change that. It's like, that was literally a movie constructed by a committee at Disney. But at the same time, you look at the finished product, and Emperor's New Groove is among one of the highlights of, that late 90s, early 2000s Disney animation.
And what's funny is, like, if you think about the late 90s, early 2000s, that is the end of 2D.
Yep.
That's the nail in the coffin, because that El Dorado, that fucking Egypt movie, Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, Prince of Egypt. That was the last one.
Yeah, these are the last 2D movies you're going to get ever. And it's like, okay. And then they started revamping the princess movies, and they made Princess and the Frog, which was 2D, but then again, it was all computer generated.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just a lot of this is going to delve into AI, which will be a whole different episode, because this is where AI kind of plays into the non-conspiratorial part, where it is, this is factually what they can do with it. This isn't like Terminator 2, but this is the real fucking thing. This is the serious part of AI, is intellectual property, changing faces, a lot of stuff. And a lot of people are getting their information from Reels, Instagram, TikTok, and it's just like, some of this sounds a little fantastical, what you're saying. I heard recently one guy was like, oh yeah, the head of Universal wants to AI generate John Wayne into a new project. And I'm like, that right there is that thin line of believability and bullshit.
Well, see, I heard that with
James Dean.
James Dean.
Yeah.
I had Dean in my head, and but I was trying to work that in as the first name, like Dean Walker.
And we have yet to see it, or any idea of it, or even like any news about it since the first time we heard about it. So
that was like what, year or so ago?
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast last year. And like I said, we haven't heard anything about it since then. So this is where that line has actually crossed into. Yeah, that was probably bullshit. Until we actually, this goes back to the alien conversation. Until we see it, it's just bullshit. You
hit the nail on the head right there.
I don't even own a hammer.
Well, let's go ahead and move on away from that bullshit. And I hear the ticket machine in the background. It's time to talk about the bear.
Yes, chef. All I could think about this whole goddamn series, working from back to the beginning of it, was the menu, and I couldn't stop laughing because I was just waiting for like one dude to clap and mention that movie during the show just to make everyone uncomfortable or surprise some fucking levity.
Well, how do we want to go about it? Do we want to do episode by episode, or do we want to kind of talk about it as a whole and like section off certain segments?
I think episode by episode, because these are 30-minute episodes. They're very quick and fast, and the way the guy who directs and produces a thing is all about fast cuts. Everything is one shot, unchained. It is out the gate fast.
So, at least according to Wikipedia, episode 1 synopsis, episode 9 overall in the series, Carmi and Sydney begin to develop a menu for the bear. They bring in Natalie as project manager for renovations. Realizing they need additional funds, they ask Cericio?
Oliver Platt's character.
Yes, for a loan, and he agrees to loan them $500,000 on the condition that they pay back the money in 18 months, or he will take ownership of the property, estimated to be worth $2 million. They develop a plan to open in 3 months. And essentially, that really does cover everything in that episode.
Yeah, so the only thing in this episode that is really important is Carmi needs to revamp his staff. All right. One is bringing Sugar in, his sister.
Yep.
One is, bringing his cousin in a little better and make him into something better.
Yeah.
All while Carmi is just like slowly deteriorating in the brain. And what I love about this in a series as a whole is you find out this is a dream of his. This was something he showed his brother, and which we'll get to that part, but that is the crux of the whole season.
Yeah.
The first season is totally opposite of this season, which I love because, hey, this is the down and out restaurant. This is a family oriented thing. And, these people are family.
Yeah.
This isn't in the employment kind of thing. Oh, here we're all family. It's like, no, motherfucker. These guys
are literally family.
Their lives are tied together down to the dishwasher,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very important that everything works out. And now they've decided to make that dream a possibility by the end of season 1 into this.
I will say one aspect of season 1 that I wish they brought into season 2 a little bit more. It felt like they forgot that they found the money in the tomato jars or tomato cans.
Yeah, so when they find the money, it is in a certain amount.
Yeah.
They need the additional amount from Oliver Platt's character.
But it feels like they would have lingered on that a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was like if I found a whole shit ton of money in fucking, some tomato cans, I would have been talking about that a little bit more. That would have been a little bit more of the conversation. It just felt like, someone left a box of donuts in the break room.
Yeah. I think we kind of get that shot at the very beginning of the episode where there's a bunch of busted up tomato cans, and they've already decided to make the plan of the bear. And it's him and his sous chef talking. But when he goes to find his cousin, he's in the basement looking at the photos that were also part of the cans and stuff. And he's trying to keep his mind together when he realizes what the bigger plan was. Because, go back to season 1, this was his home.
Yeah.
Before Carmi came back, because Carmi, has been heavy in the big restaurant scene. So when he's just trying to process that, and I think that kind of continues on. Everyone's a little bit tighter, but those same fractures are still there.
Yeah, I like that. Sydney and the older Hispanic lady. I like seeing the two of them starting to bond a little bit
Thick as
more.
thieves, yeah. By the end of it, they are perfectly working. They are a unit that exists in the kitchen.
And that was a satisfying character development because they did not get along up until like maybe right near the end of season 1.
And it was also kind of like, you know, the older person who's been working there and the new person coming in with the exact same level of skill, if not more. And
I like the fact that she respected it though.
Yeah, so she took the sous chef, the girl, she took the hazing. She took it and then proved that she could be above it. And you know, going back to season 1 again, like this is what this was. And now but she didn't do it back at her.
Yeah.
Where she had every right to. All she did was help her be better. Help her been like, hey, let's do this. And then when she did better, when the older woman did better, she acknowledged it.
Yep.
This is fantastic. What you just did here was perfect. It's kind of like Carmi and Marcus. It's like, God damn it, Marcus, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like the perfect goddamn donut from heaven. And it's just like, fuck, this can cure panic attacks. My house is on fire, but you fixed it with the donut, you asshole. I love it so much. It's that what is it? Violent cuteness almost. It's like, oh my God, I want to fucking eat it. but yeah, they've carried that dynamic on, and now they're both there.
Yeah, which leads in perfectly to episode 2. Construction hiccups occur, including a discovery of a mold problem.
We don't have no goddamn mold problem. If it was, the ceiling would fall down. He starts tapping the ceiling, and that dude legitimately probably has mesothelioma now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sydney has a dinner with her father, who expresses his concerns about her choice to open a restaurant. With Sydney now the chef de cuisine, she asks Tina to be her sous chef. To the latter's delight, she sends Tina and Ebra to culinary school to take advantage of their existing staff. Meanwhile, Carmi reconnects with his childhood friend Clary, and now a resident in emergency medicine, but purposely gives her the wrong phone number.
This is a lot about rebuilding the team.
Yep.
We need them to be legitimate. So I'm going to send my 2 standard cooks to culinary school so they can have that on their resume, basically. Because you really want that on a Michelin. Their main goal is a star, a Michelin star.
A star,
just one, not 5, just one. You just got to get the one. And how hard that is. And so, these 2 going to culinary school was perfect. Now, I will say Peter Townsend is the guy that plays old girl's dad. Do you know the significance of him in like nerd culture?
No.
He's the first live action black superhero.
Oh, no shit.
He played a man named Meteor Man.
Yeah.
I used to own this movie because I used to live in a video store. And it was my favorite like superhero movie before superhero movies were fun, because it was like he touches a meteor, becomes superpowered and whatever. Fucking hilarious movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. And seeing him, I'm just like, holy shit, that's Meteor Man. Like, for me watching this, I was like, holy shit, that's fun as fuck. Where has he been? Like, but because he was like in sitcoms and stuff after that. But like, I was just like, I would tell this to Alex. I got to find out if he knows if he's the first black live action superhero.
No, Meteor Man. I'll need to check that out. But one of the other things that this one kind of hit me more than I expected it to, not in any sort of like I relate way, but just like they just played it so well. When Tina and Ebra go to culinary school, Tina stumbles but gets into it.
Yeah.
Ebra turns around and leaves. He feels so intimidated by it.
Yeah, so...
And he plays it so well throughout those following episodes of just like that, is it worth it? I don't know. I don't belong here. Because you see him like look at everything. And like, you know what he came from. That dirty, greasy kitchen of, you know, the old beef.
A cook.
Yeah. And then now he's looking at this perfectly clean stainless steel room with these perfect white chef's outfits and like so much organization and cleanliness and purposeness, that he just did not feel like he belonged in that. And like I said, I don't relate in that. I feel like malleable to a lot of scenarios, but just like I've seen so many people like him, and I think that's why it hit me in such a way.
When you got Tita and Ibrahim together, you have two sides to the same coin. It's just how they handle it. So these are the two scenarios of how you handle that situation when you're old. Do I stick and learn it and stick the landing, or do I look at myself and doubt myself and leave? This is a perfect example of like these two people, because that's what they are. And this is kind of a hard aspect. We'll learn later on in life when we're older. It's like, do I keep going with it, or do I better myself into a younger training? Because this is a very young man's crowd. It's a young man's game.
Oh yeah, you got to be physically fit, mentally fit.
Yeah, and so for these people to make that next step into being better, those are your two options: stick the landing or quit. That's it. There's no in between.
And they show the two sides of the coin.
And Tina needs to stick the landing, because she's not only bullied someone from this kind of culture, but she's also stuck the landing with them in a personal way. Yep. She shows respect to these people that she cooks with throughout the show, and to the point where they befriend her, and she sticks her neck out because she's very closed off. She has her own family. She decides to branch out, and then she goes to later on she goes to a bar with them, and so that's a big step for her.
Yeah,
as a character. Abraham coming back later on is a big step for him. So I think they did that just to show those are the two options that are only available in that situation.
And another cool dynamic that they've shown in these two episodes, I think they did it in passing in season 1, but it was never explained. But between this time, Carmi and Sid are also like trying to figure out a menu, for the bear, and tensions get heated with two creative people. I've been through that with podcasting and music. You get creative people involved, and sometimes folks don't see eye to eye, and sometimes it takes a little bit of hard discussion, respectfully on both sides to reach a solution to figure out what we got to do.
That's why we don't have a whole series about the theremin. Creative fucking differences.
He says, gripping his drinks harder.
Just pour my Diet Coke over this fucking Super Nintendo fucking Lego set.
But one of the things that he implemented, he did like the Coco Sad, the sorry thing.
So that's a big thing in not only restaurants, but in certain working environments where you can't just say that kind of thing. And it's just, you see it at different workplaces. There are hand gestures people make that are inside the company or inside the thing. Like one thing I would do would hold my hand like this. Mm-hmm. If someone needed me, which means wait. When I was doing customer service over the phone, like I would tap the headphones and be like, and they would be like, oh, okay, Chris will help me with something. Right. Or, hey, I'll tap my forehead, like, you good?
Yeah.
So like those are just little hand gestures that we create in our own environments. Yeah. But that one's very important because it's like, God damn it, where's the fucking cannoli? And he's just rubbing his chest. Yeah. And he's just
he's giving the buffer of like, I'm stressed, but I'm not being stressed at you. It's just coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out like I'm attacking you, but I'm not. Please understand, I am not attacking you. But we do need 48 steaks on the fly.
Right fucking now. And I love that kind of thing because in those high stress scenarios, sometimes it does just bubble out where you're just like, God damn it, where are the 58 fucking steaks? And it's like, you've got to express being like, look, I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the situation. You just happen to be hearing the situation.
So Carmi and Sydney have the best relationship, even though it's fucking hectic and awful. Out of everybody, they have the best because they're trying to be the best.
Yeah.
And they're not going against each other. Mm-hmm. They need the other one to be just as good, if not better.
Yep.
So there is a lot. That's why he shows that to her. It's just like, look, this is what I've learned. Mm-hmm. I think this can make us better.
Yeah.
And it does. It makes them so much better.
It defuses every one of their situations. It gets them through some tough stuff. But yeah, and then Carmi reconnects with his childhood friend Claire Bear, now a resident in emergency medicine. But yeah, he intentionally gives her the wrong phone number, which I think this was the other weak point throughout the season. I bought their connection. I bought the realness and the distraction it brought. It just, I don't know. By the end, but I'll get there by the end of the series or end of the season. It just, I don't know. It felt like such a weird thing for it to. I don't know.
I saw it more as like he doesn't feel like he deserves to be happy.
Oh yeah, I mean he said that on Front Street.
I think that's a perfect example of that. It's like, here's someone who's reaching out to me that could make me happy, but I don't deserve that. So let me just go ahead and shut that shit down.
Yeah,
in a weird passive aggressive way. And that's the thing about Carmi in the whole fucking series is he's very self-deprecating throughout the series, because like we see that in season 1 a lot. He's like, he gets that card from Sugar, and he's like, hey, go see somebody, go talk to somebody. He's like, okay, fine. And then he never goes, and ends up having a fucking panic attack and leaving the kitchen with Sydney, and she's just like, what the fuck is happening right now? So like, yeah, so he doesn't believe in his mind that he deserves relief.
Yeah, that makes sense. Episode 3 kicks off. Carmi continues to attend AI Anon meetings where he discusses his struggles finding time for leisure and enjoyment. He and Sydney prepare their menu but realize their broken plates present a challenge. After Carmi blows her off to spend time with Claire, Sydney ventures to multiple restaurants around the city to sample desserts. Gathering inspiration, she also receives feedback from former colleagues who stress the importance of having a business partner who she can trust. Sydney then returns to the bar and becomes upset when she discovers Carmi has been making decisions without consulting her.
Yeah, so this is where we get a lot of background on Sydney, which we kind of need, because these are 30-minute episodes.
Yep.
We don't know a lot about them. And season 1 didn't show a lot about them. Season 1's all about cohesion.
Yep.
That's all it's about.
Season 1 was getting to know the kitchen.
Yeah, and how it works. And this one, we get a lot of background on everybody.
Oh yeah, big time.
In a hard way. But this is a very important for Sydney. I kind of respect Sydney more because of this episode, because
it definitely made me like her as a character more.
All I know about Sydney based on season 1 was she went to culinary school, had a bad kind of situation happen to her, went into catering, and ended up being kind of stuck, and then ended up working at the beef. That's it. That's all we know. That's all we kind of need to know. But it gets kind of more in depth in season 1 in that one episode where everything breaks and has to cook outside. So we get to see a skill for her. She's a trouble solver, problem solver. So yeah, so when she's in the thick of it, she's okay. Yeah, that's where she thrives. Yeah, and
you always need that kind of person on your team.
But she also doesn't trust any people. Why does she trust anybody? Well, now we know. Yep. We know now, and she has good fucking reason not to trust anybody. And we really need to know that, because if you're going to set up some kind of dynamism of a character, you need to show that.
And I also really like the dynamic pull between her believing it with all her heart that this is the right choice.
Yeah.
And then her father going, but Sid, are you sure? Are you sure?
And he's the voice of, not reason, but voice of sustainability.
Yes. So the voice of sustainability is going, Sid, are you sure? And then when she's going around doing these little day-long internships at, high-class restaurants, she's even kind of getting the vibe at the very end from a good handful of people that are all but saying, Sid, are you sure?
And we need that, everybody needs that person in their lives.
Yeah.
Even if it's like that one person been like, hey, man, are you sure about this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, or you hear about a friend talking to somebody or talking to a girl or a guy or whatever. It's like, hey, are you good with it? That's all that matters.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Are you good with it? And it doesn't have to come from a negative aspect or anything. It's just like, are you 100%? Because if you're not, you need to really think about it before you make any more decisions. And they're playing it safe with her, and they fucking should, because we both know this business isn't a long-lasting business. People come and fucking go in the restaurant business.
Oh, yeah. You can expect to bleed money for that first 3 years you're in the restaurant.
Yeah, you're not going to be fucking Gordon Ramsay first year, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and that kind of plays off later on when we talk about his cousin.
Yeah.
But But no, this was a great episode, probably one of the better episodes of the season.
I would agree. But yeah, and then when she returns back to the bear, she becomes upset when Carmi has been making decisions without consulting her, because with that, when she was getting feedback from former colleagues stressing the importance of having a business partner she can trust, she's like, well, trust in what way? They're like, well, ensuring that, decisions are being made 50-50. You aren't stepping on his toes. He's not stepping on your toes. Everything is even. And then she comes back and realizes like, what, he changed the plates or like changed the dining set or something like that. And she was just like, you didn't consult me. And he's just like, well, yeah, because these plates were cheaper. She's like, right, but you didn't consult me. He's just like, okay, well, I had the person on the phone. I had to make a decision right then. Are they look fine? She's like, yeah, they look fine, but you didn't consult me. And at that moment, you saw her Carmi moment, where you've seen Carmi get really unhinged over the smallest thing. All of a sudden, you saw it with her. But then they defused it with the little chestnut rub.
It kind of goes back to the whole that pasta, that Coca-Cola pasta dish she made, and just gave it to somebody in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I didn't tell you anything about it because it wasn't the time to tell you about it, but because you went ahead and gave it to somebody, and that was a very fucking review. Now we have a goddamn problem. It's like, so there is, we could talk about this sensibly, and it kind of adds to the arrogance of both of them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun to watch, at least for me.
Yeah.
Is like, because this argument doesn't get resolved until the last fucking episode where they're putting a table together.
Yeah.
This is how it came to be. This is what this whole fucking thing, what I love about the second season is none of these conversations really end until the last episode.
Yep.
And we gotta keep them 100%.
Episode 4, 2 months until opening, Carmi learns that Natalie is pregnant. Richie and Fat continue to lead construction efforts while Sydney begins screening new employees. Meanwhile, Marcus is tasked with developing 3 unique desserts for the bear.
This is my second favorite episode.
Yes, I'm going to have a lot to kind of talk about on this. He temporarily leaves his terminally ill mother to travel to Copenhagen to learn from a skilled pastry chef, and the two quickly become friends. Luca recounts being humbled by his level of talent after working with more skilled chefs, implied to be Carmi, and how he's now since found a better balance between honing his craft and appreciating life outside the kitchen. Marcus is inspired by the experience while growing feelings for Sydney.
In Denmark. That's all I know in Danish. It means all hail Denmark. But like this was my second favorite episode because it's a Marcus one, and we needed a Marcus episode.
Yes, I love Marcus.
Marcus is the perfect fucking character in this show. He goes to Denmark, and they do a lot of, site shoots. Like this is Copenhagen. This is the capital of Denmark. And he meets someone there who is a kind of a pastry chef.
Yeah.
But someone who's on the upper echelon of pastry. And this guy gives Marcus everything he needs. And I was waiting for like some negative thing to happen, like him just talk down to Marcus and just kind of ruin the scene.
I was too.
Didn't happen. Because we find out he knows everything about Marcus, because this turns out to be a Carmi situation. This is what Carmi's doing. He's setting these people up for success, and he's setting them with people who they need to be with. So like, he needs someone who's temperamental to be with Marcus, because he tried to be hard on Marcus, and Marcus fucking left.
Yeah.
And all that potential went out the fucking door.
Mm-hmm.
So I need someone who can be patient. I need someone who's good, but can make him enthusiastic about the thing. So I'm going to set him with this guy, as opposed to his cousin. I need someone that's going to be stern with him and no bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who he got.
Yep.
But this is such a fucking good, and it's a lot about the cooking in this episode.
Yeah.
A lot of like, hey, this is where the experimentation is. This is how we take terrible flavors and make them taste like a Snickers bar. Like that's basically what they do. It's like, let me show you what we can do. And it is on that avant-garde bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I was getting, like the menu kind of vibe. It's just like, it doesn't have to look like that.
But it does.
I don't need a cannoli with squid eggs.
No.
But if it tastes like a fucking Snickers bar, it tastes like a Snickers bar, I guess.
I will say another thing that kind of lingered with this is it's the whole Chekhov's gun thing. You show the gun in the first act, you got to fire it by the third. I immediately got this sinking feeling when I saw that his mother was like terminally ill. I was like,
yeah,
ooh, this isn't gonna end well. And the thing was, I was expecting it to happen sooner.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to happen in that episode.
Yeah, so...
Like, he was going to get so wrapped up because he started FaceTiming with Sydney, but then he started kind of falling off. Like, he was getting really wrapped up in his inspiration and in his world. I was expecting at that point, he was going to be in an area that didn't have signal.
Yeah, that
and
was...
then once he got back to a certain area, like it was gonna be like a walking scene. Maybe he met someone, and it's like all of a sudden he gets like at a certain range, and you hear ding 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 ding.
Yeah,
he looks. He's like, oh God, I didn't get any of these oh God, I've got to go. That kind of thing where it's like undercuts that beautiful, wonderful, flowery moment with, oh shit, I'm not even in the U.S. right now. Fuck.
Yeah. Marcus is the one character I would sympathize with overall. He's out of his element. Remember, where did Marcus come from before this? McDonald's. That's it.
I'm
the shit. I'm the man. I put the Mick in McDonald's, motherfucker. But like, there is a weird scene in this episode where he comes across a Danish man who had fell into a fencing material and was really badly injured, and he kind of saved his life a little bit because it's in the middle of the night. The guy's laid out moaning in pain. All kinds of bad shit could happen.
Oh yeah.
And he picks them up, and there's that language barrier, and so he picks them up and basically saves this man's life, right?
Yeah.
But after that, where he's having a hard time learning everything, after that moment, it's like a cathartic moment where when he goes back to that little kitchen, he's got it every time. And that guy was the perfect teacher for him. And I think that's always very important, when you're training somebody to do a job. Mm-hmm. Anytime I've ever trained somebody, I'm very hands-on, positive, until I'm not. But like that, but I try. I'm a big believer in the positive firsthand. Hey, you didn't get it right this time. Let's do it this way. Show me. If you can think of a better way, let's work through it. Let's work through it.
Yeah.
And work through it. And work to the point where I'm like, okay, you're not paying attention. You're not focusing. So I'm going to do it. And if you don't do it this way, you can go out the door.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's just how it is. But he fucking nails it, man. And that's what I loved about his character was he got so fucking into it, and he stuck the landing.
Yep.
And then, another thing that's going on in this is like Carby and Sugar, her saying she's pregnant. I just love that moment. It's just like, don't tell anybody. And the wall just comes crashing down. Yeah.
Congratulations!
Hey, how's it going? Hey! It's like, God. And you can tell like that aggravation in her face. It's like this fucking monstrosity of a group. It kind of reminds me of like a music manager of like Queen or something. It's just like, oh my God, these fucking assholes.
Motley Crue's manager at any point.
Hey, Three Leg, just play the fucking drums, all right? Just shut the fuck up and play the goddamn drums.
Episode 5, Pop. Sydney continues developing the menu with help from Tina, who is thriving in culinary school. However, Tina is troubled when Ebra stops attending. Natalie convinces Cericio. Yep. I'm going to wind up doing that every time.
Say Oliver Platt.
Yeah. To expedite permit applications, Claire accompanies Carmi to drop off a liquor license application where the pair bond a bit. She convinces him to accompany her to a party where Carmi realizes Claire represents the release and enjoyment he has been searching for, which usually happens when you wind up falling in love with someone. After the party, Carmi takes Claire to see the restaurant, intruding upon an argument over Richie's stealing electricity from the neighbor's building. When the restaurant clears, Carmi and Claire share their first kiss.
So in this one, it is kind of a jumbled mess. but it's an easy one. This is where Tina leaves and goes with a new crowd of people.
Yeah.
This is very important for her as a character.
Because they actually invite her out.
Yeah, and that, as bad as people think it is at working a new spot, when you start talking to the people, they are going to be outgoing, generally. There are going to be assholes in the place you go to work, but there are going to be outgoing people, and I think that's very important if you're working somewhere and someone new shows up. Be outgoing to them, make them feel comfortable, because if they're comfortable, they work well.
Yep.
That's just a truth, a fact. And I'm glad to see that with her, because she is a hard ass. But she needs to be. But she gets prideful, and that's a good thing for her. She needs that. One is the fact that Carmi gave her his knife.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, as she took his knife.
Yeah, but he never, at some point, she's like, hey, I forgot to give your knife back. He's like, did I ask for it back?
Yeah, that was at the very end. I love that.
That's the end of that conversation. It's just like, no, you've earned that.
Yeah.
That came from the fucking steel mines of heaven. So yeah, you earned that fucking knife. And the way she I think she's like cutting fish or something, and that guy comes by, same thing I said earlier, positive, fantastic chef.
Yep.
That's the best cut I've ever fucking seen in my goddamn life. Keep it on. And now she's prideful again, so that's these people need to be built the fuck up. And what I love about Richie is a gangster.
Yeah.
Through and through. And fucking Sydney's just like, we can't be stealing fucking power from our goddamn, they don't even fucking know. Hey, this is like a Sopranos thing, which I'm watching right now. It's just like, they don't even fucking know. Who gives a shit? I love that mentality.
I'm surprised they didn't continue the thread that you brought up last time we did the review, which is Richie possibly being illiterate.
Yeah, so they kind of they didn't really throw it out the window because they never gave examples of him fixing it.
That's true.
So he reads what's called restaurant shorthand.
Yeah.
We know he reads that. Hey, I need this.
Because he could read the tickets at the end.
Yeah, and tickets are written in shorthand.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is just Richie's gangster mentality. He's like, we don't need to follow the fucking rules. And like, no, motherfucker, this time you do.
We're in the big leagues.
Yeah, this isn't your fly-by-night pop shop run by fucking meth heads. This is the show.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Yeah, and he gets in the next episode, I think, is the one where he gets that hard hitting. But
actually, no, the next episode we got a whole lot to talk about.
So fun. It's very Christmassy.
Oh yeah, very holly and jolly.
But with Carmi and with the girl he's with, I think it was very important for him to see that, hey, it's okay to step back and breathe. And he kind of does he goes to that party and there's like some networking going on, but he also sees a lot of people from his childhood, from his days in high school. And it kind of reminds me of that party episode from season 1 where they're at the kids' party. Hey, Carby, you were in the restaurant business. What happened? He's like, I'm still in the restaurant business. Ah, you poor fuck. It's just
every musician felt that one.
Yeah. It's like,
how's your band? We just got off the road on a tour supporting our new record that came out 2 months ago.
Never heard of it. Hey, how's your sister? That's that conversation. Oh, that's real good. Never heard of it though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm real proud of you guys. Real proud of you guys. You making the big time, right?
Are you cooking for this kid's birthday party, yeah?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Everybody just turned into Jersey Shore. Everybody just turned into fucking Jersey gangsters. But yeah, so like he's networking actually. He's learning a lot more about the world through that kind of lens, and it kind of pays off for him in a little ways. But damn it, Carmi, fucking relax. God damn it, man. I get it. You're in the big leagues. You're trying to make it something. This is a dream, and anybody that's ever had dreams of doing something like that, or on that level, knows that if I don't focus, I will fuck up. And God damn it.
Yeah. Oh no, I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that for this episode, there's a lot of him and Claire. Which
this was one of the low episodes for me.
But it was also an exposition episode we need.
Yeah. Nah, the next episode 6, Fishes. Now, as you've mentioned a few times, 30-minute episodes. This episode was a movie. This was an hour and 30 minutes long.
This was, a Christopher Nolan movie about Christmas.
Yeah.
This was hard to watch. But just go before we start. Jamie Lee Curtis, Sarah Paulson, Bob Odenkirk, John Mulaney, and I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. The guy that plays Shane from The Walking Dead.
Oh, right.
The Punisher.
Yeah.
Oh,
John Bernthal.
I don't know who owed favors to who, but goddamn.
Yeah. All-star cast.
All-star cast, and they all brought something to it. They're not these cartoon characters. I think the best performance is John Mulaney because he's trying to be like, oh, hey, how you doing? Don't you ever ask me how the fuck I'm doing. He's like,
okay.
Okay then. Oh, he's the Ned Flanders of the group.
He really is.
And he's just like, okay. And like, they're going into, this is the Christmas episode.
Yes.
This is a back in time episode, which we needed to see. We meet Carmi's mom, their stepdad, Bob Odenkirk. John Barenthal, the brother, is alive. Suge is just married to that one guy, that total fuck up of her husband, which I love him. I love this dumbass so much. Richie, everybody's here. You know, our main group of people, the family.
Yeah.
The family.
And this is like, this is set 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's not even that long ago.
Yeah. So like, Carmi's still on the road, you know, being a chef. I love that Matty Matheson is part of it, even though he's not family. But then we find out Richie's not really family either.
Yeah.
He's cousin. That's all that we just assumed that. Yeah, he's probably like their mom's nephew.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, not exactly.
Yeah.
But they're just part of it.
Yeah, he's just distant cousin.
Yeah. But we see Sarah Paulson and her husband John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Which when I saw Sarah Paulson, I'm just like, that's a fucking pull. But then I was like, oh wait, it is FX, so yeah, you could get Sarah Paulson.
And then also went like I was watching a few scenes, and then I finally went, is that fucking John Mulaney? Like I didn't immediately recognize him.
No, it's that new John Mulaney who just got out of rehab, and it's just like, yep, that's what we need to see.
Yep,
this scruffy looking motherfucker, and he plays it so fucking well.
This was my favorite episode of the season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, same.
Hands down.
It's my favorite 2-episode season.
Yes.
This should have been like, I kind of wish they had waited to release this in November. That way the Christmas episode actually would have fell around Christmas, just to make everybody really uncomfortable.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is the mother, Donna.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Let's make the Scream Queen the most dynamic character who makes everyone uncomfortable.
Here's the thing. It's a very long episode, but it's not like there's a lot of moments for us to discuss because it's a lot of drawn out, talking over each other, noise in the background.
It's Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's a Christmas Thanksgiving, and that's what that is.
Yes.
Hey, did you get a chance to talk to your cousin yet?
No, I didn't have a chance to talk to Mary yet, no, we're not talking about that right now. It's a whole bunch of that, and then like the bells ringing, the timer's going off in the back. You need to get that out of the oven. Which one, Ma? We got 2 fucking racks here. And then it's like any little thing, Jamie Lee Curtis would fly off the handle over the smallest thing, and you start really realizing, oh,
she's not right.
She definitely has a mental problem, and this family is doing the absolute best they can to pacify. Yeah,
they're just trying to, they're ignoring it, and they're also letting it slide. Another person that showed up in the show is Jillian Michael, which is a character from Community, great actress. She's Richie's wife. And this is where we first meet Richie's wife, and she's out there. She's pregnant, and Oliver Platt is there as always as the. I'm assuming that's Jamie Lee Curtis's brother.
Okay.
It seemed like they were. This is what that's their uncle, But it's also, keep in mind, Oliver Platt's character and Richie are in kind of a seedy business as well. Because that's why Sugar asked him, hey, can you expedite some of these? Oh, he's involved in some corruption. He's involved in some weird shit. That's why he really wants the building.
Yeah. And Richie really wants a job from him.
Yeah. Some quick things. One of my favorite things was Matty Matheson and his buddy, I think it's his brother, are trying to pitch this idea to Oliver Platt. And he's like, hold on. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And it walks away. It just walks away. And that's perfect.
I think, is that good? I think we got it.
That's a yes.
Oh, yes.
That's not a no.
That's not a no.
It's
It's not a no.
It's just like, these fucking idiots. And then they tell it to John Mulaney. And John Mulaney, I love what he says. He's like, you know what? I'll give you the money because I'm not going to see you for a year. And I just want to see you guys do something. And like, he's like, I think you guys are hilarious. I don't think you're going to make any money, but you know what? I'll give you the money anyway. And I just love that about his character. It's just like, you guys are fucking dumb as shit, but I want to see you burn.
Yeah.
It's like,
This is what happens when you give idiots money.
Don't enable these dumb motherfuckers. Don't do that. Bob Odenkirk, though, as their stepdad.
Yeah.
But not even their stepdad, just the guy that's married to their mom. It's fantastic. This guy's coming off fucking Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Mr. Nobody. Like, what a range on this motherfucker. But we see Carmy coming back, and his mom kind of grilling him a little bit. So it's like, I had to beg you to come back. He's like, no, Mom, you didn't beg me to fucking come back. He's like, but let me help you, blah, blah, blah. And this is where he starts, kind of devolving from the Carmy we know to the Carmy of the family. Because if you notice real quick, all these people are monsters when they're not in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
They're degenerate assholes. Even Sarah Paulson.
Oh, yeah,
like,
every one of them.
Even corners Carmy is just like, hey, you could stay with us in New York if you need. And just like that advice alone is damn near treason.
Yeah.
You're all in Chicago, for one. And it's such a fantastic dynamic between all of them that when it goes down toward the end, it just crashes and burns.
Oh, yeah. Because, again, so it's like the whole theme of the dinner was Feast of the Seven Fishes.
It's an Italian tradition. They try to tell the story a few times. It doesn't go anywhere.
No.
Because they can't tell a simple story because no one can shut the fuck up.
Nope. And all of that just keeps boiling and coming to a head. Jamie Lee Curtis, Donna, keeps having miniature freakouts in the kitchen like every few hours. It's getting worse and worse. She's exiting herself, and there's heavy family talks and drama. And it all comes to a head with a fork.
Yeah, but before we get to that, because that's a big part of that episode, is I noticed something very quickly that I didn't notice in season 1 till now. They'll be having a conversation and another person just keeps entering the kitchen.
Yeah.
And one is Richie's wife. She's not feeling well. They're looking for Sprite. They don't have Sprite. Carmy is literally talking to his mother. And Carmy just stops and like, you know what? I'll make you some Sprite. I can just make some. And then the conversation just does a full right turn like nothing happened. And then it's just like, oh, you could just make fucking Sprite, you piece of shit? All this fancy. And it's like, Richie, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. If you want to value your goddamn life, shut the fuck up. And he makes her Sprite from scratch. And I'm just like, God damn it. What the fuck just happened? It's just like these weird David Blaine magic tricks are happening all throughout the fucking episode. And we're just like, I had to watch it twice. Like, I'm just like, I'm missing something. I'm not.
Bitch just made fucking Sprite, man.
Fucking culinary expert.
He's about to make fucking ranch next.
Yeah, he's going to make it from scratch. But before you get to the fork episode, or the fork episode, before the forks part is Bob Odenkirk saying something to their brother. And
it's like, you're a loser. You're a loser. Nothing.
You keep talking about the same goddamn story we've heard 1,000 fucking times. And I could see that happening at a Thanksgiving or a Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
You fucking loser. You coming up here talking about this. Because it's also the same story we heard from Richie about the Boston tickets or whatever. And the only levity...
So even we as an audience have heard this story a lot.
And the only levity we get is when Suge's husband shows up with the fucking tuna casserole. And this is where Carmy turns into one of the family. He turns off all that professionalism and he looks his brother-in-law in the face. He's like, are you trying to kill me? Are you trying to ruin my goddamn life? Why were you attacking me right now?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I watched it, I'm just like, And he's looking up.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, karma's gonna fucking cut you.
Yep.
Why would you do? It's called 7 fishes. Why did you bring an 8th fish?
Well, I just don't understand the whole big.
Do you hate me?
No, I don't hate you.
That's an argument statement I've ever fucking heard of one. Why do you hate me?
Yeah.
What?
Why do you hate me?
I just wanted Pepsi, motherfucker. Like, Jesus.
Sir, this is Wendy's.
And Sugar, same mentality as his family, just takes that shit. You fucking goddamn idiot. And chucks that shit out.
Do not let her see that.
She takes it outside and throws it. I'm just like, God damn, these people are monsters. They're fucking animals. Savages. And then we get to the fork scene.
The fork scene.
I love this. He's like, fucking, and he just throws it.
Yeah.
And it's very simple because they're all waiting for the mom.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We got to wait for the matriarch of the family to come out because
and she's already had another meltdown and she's gone upstairs.
She's having a panic attack basically, and she's that weird, like it's almost like a Jersey, like New York mom. Mm-hmm. Why don't you fucking love me? Alex, why would you hurt me like this?
But I do love you, Mom.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I make this beautiful fucking meal.
I know we appreciate. We all appreciate it. We love you. We
I work so hard.
But we appreciate you and we love you.
No, you fucking don't. You want me to die?
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
Like, who the fuck said that?
You're thinking it. I know you're fucking thinking it. It's like, God fucking damn it.
No winning.
No, there's no winning. And all this is happening downstairs in the dining room where Bob Odenkirk is about to be killed by Sean Baird-Hall. And I'm just like, it's going to take every motherfucker to stop this. And here she comes. Mm-hmm. But the worst person I felt in this whole episode was Sugar.
Yeah.
She made the mistake. Hey, are you okay? And you could see Carmi's mind just go, don't. God damn. And you see like Sarah Paulson's just like,
yeah. God damn it. Fuck.
Sugar, I don't need your goddamn help. Because Sugar's treated lesser than all of them.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason. There's always that one kid that needs to be put down. And she's the one. Whenever there's a dynamic of 3 or more kids in a situation, there's one kid who's not up to snuff for that parent. So yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
And I felt so fucking terrible because in season 1, she's the best of all of them because she's not in the kitchen. Yep. She's not ruining her goddamn life. But this is just National Lampoon's suicidal Thanksgiving. Like this is all it is. It's like if you're the opposite of a fun Christmas vacation.
Yeah,
this is it.
No, excellent episode, top tier. This made me go, okay, this might be better than season 1.
Yeah.
The next episode is also fantastic, but then after that, I feel like it really takes a dip. The next episode is Forks, in which Richie is sent by Carmi to an upscale fine dining restaurant for a week as education. He is deeply skeptical of the restaurant and is annoyed by having to wake up before dawn for this just to meticulously clean forks. But after seeing how dedicated the restaurant staff are to their customers, Richie had a change of heart and becomes enthusiastic and learns to expedite a busy dinner service. When the week comes to a close, Richie is sad to leave and inquires about staying on permanently. Before leaving, he meets with the owner, Terry, who recounts the origins of the restaurant and how she overcame her personal setbacks. Terry adds that Carmi believes in Richie and assures him that his people skills will get him far.
This is a very good episode.
Very, very good episode.
He's going to become what's called a stager.
Yeah.
And this is very, it's a French Brigade style of restaurant, which is brought up in season 1 again by Sydney, who Ibrahim's like, I like that. Ibrahim was in the army. So you like structure.
Yeah.
But it is everyone has one job. You need to be best at that job above all else.
Yep.
And I need you to be best at the person next to you's job as well, just in case. And it starts with the simplest thing. Clean forks.
Yep.
That's your job. There are
And
many,
clean them well.
these are your forks. There are many like it, but these forks are yours. So it's a very militaristic way of doing things. You know, this is how the military, you know, beats the shit out of you really, mentally. Is it's like, pick up your gun, take it apart, put it back together, clean it again. Is that dust on the site? How are you going to kill the enemy when there's dust on the goddamn site? Like, it's just like, it's that mentality. It's just this horrific idea. But he gets in this groove because he's able to take that confrontation with the main guy, main stager, and they can play off each other.
Yeah.
And one of the things he learns is, I think it's like the second or third day, he goes into a meeting, and it's the meeting is like, hey, we got 2 people coming. It's a teacher who's been saving up a lot of money. We went through their Instagram, went through their Facebook, and this is where I think where new technology really comes into a good light, which is all negative lately. But hey, they looked at Instagram posts, they looked at Facebook, and they're talking about, hey, they're excited, they've saved up all this money. I don't want to see a goddamn bill on that table. Mm-hmm. That was the best fucking thing I heard, because even Richie's like, that's all right. That's the way it could be. And dude, they fucking played it perfectly, down to every little thing. And even him like learning other people's jobs. He's like, hey, well, what's the next thing? Well, if you're good enough to clean the floors, we might get you on spoons. And I'm just like, holy shit, you fucking asshole. But no, that's what it came to be. And he starts getting like the second stager guy, the main guy. He's like, oh yeah, I had a fucking problem, dude. I had substance abuse problems, you know, did all this, did that. And hey, things happen. It is what it is.
I just found a purpose.
Yeah. And you know, he was a doctor or a nurse. He went from hospital to hospitality, and Richie kind of understands that now, and he learns. And that's the best thing about this character is he learned to be better.
Richie learn.
Richie learn. Richie learn.
Chris is actually doing sign language for folks that can't see.
Or person learn. Or learn. I've been trying to do side more lately because I want to meet a deaf girl. Get my 1/3 to a Helen Keller.
Oh, god damn it.
She's got disability money. But no, she's not going to hear this. So many jokes and puns.
Oh god. But no, fantastic episode. And yeah, it was nice seeing. I liked seeing Richie finally get one.
My biggest like takeaway with this was Richie didn't realize he was talking to Terry, the owner.
Yeah.
The whole fuck conversation. She's like, "Oh no, I just come in early," and he's showing her. She's showing him how to prep mushrooms a weird way, and all this. And it isn't until like the very last second he's like, "Oh wait, that's the goddamn owner. That's who I needed to talk to."
Yeah.
Well, with the pan away shot, you see a photo in the hallway. And it's Carmi and the guy from Denmark. Mm-hmm. And you realize, oh, that's how Carmi's been able to do this, facilitate this, is he's using connections from his past experiences. And this is how he's making his team better.
Yeah.
And
that is the way you do it.
And fantastic. I love the little, it's like an Easter egg almost.
Yeah, it is.
But
it's like a deviled egg.
But yeah, he becomes better.
Yep.
And it shows off in kind of a pretentious way when they're doing interviews, which I love later on. But fantastic episode.
And I like how after that he's just like, I'm a suit guy now.
Oh yeah,
because he takes pride in himself now.
Yeah, well, he started doing that like the first, like by the second or third day. Yeah, he's up there. Mm-hmm. He's up there. Even like, Richie, we need a deep dish pizza.
All right, I'm on it.
Gone. And he's running in a suit like James Bond, because that's what his job needs to be. That's what he needs to be at that time.
Yep. And
what does he do? 100% performance.
100% of the time.
Oh no! Present it to the table, asshole. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Bam. And like he puts a flair on it, which is kind of fun. It's campy as fuck, but it's fun.
I did find it funny though that like the restaurant served another restaurant's pizza, and all they did was
cut it out.
Cut a big circle in the center, and then like put that on the plate.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's also like an experience too.
It is, but still, it's just like that felt like a little bit of a weird thing for a restaurant to do, or like integrity wise.
Babish does that. Babish does that in one of his episodes because that's been a big inspiration for a guy who cooks, is the bear season 2. Even Pat Oswalt made fun of it. Yes. It's like, it's hilarious.
So yeah, this to me though, that felt like the last strong episode. The last 3 kind of left me wanting a little bit. Number 8, Bolognese. 10 days before opening. Bolognese. 10 days before opening, Carmi and Sydney are panicking over their inability to pass the fire suppression test. Ebra returns and reconciles with Tina, and he agrees to take over the restaurant's takeout sandwich window. Richie too returns with a newfound sense of purpose. Marcus then returns from Copenhagen with his new dessert menu. Richie apologizes to Natalie for the way he treated her, and the pair begin interviewing front of house candidates while Sydney begins to see Claire as a threat to Carmi's focus. Fack remembers that Michael once considered destroying the restaurant to commit insurance fraud and realizes Michael disabled the fire suppression unit. Fack fixes it in time. They pass the test, allowing them to officially open. Carmi, now realizing he loves Claire, makes her dinner.
Yeah, this is a cohesion episode. Everybody needs to get right with each other before we open, and this is the perfect example of how we need to do it. I forget I'm trying to remember the term he uses, because it's a derogatory term. I think it's called a Jewish fix, which is when you're trying to commit fraud.
Oh yeah, and they're like, Richie, you can't say that.
But that's what it is. It's a fix.
Yeah,
he wanted, because Michael wanted the place to burn down so he can get the money. That was the whole goal.
He really was the Punisher.
But like the whole thing about Carmi cooking her dinner was, she had offhandedly said, "I've never had someone cook me dinner before."
Yep.
So this
every man hears that as a challenge.
Yeah, but it's also like, this is a whole kind of crux of the whole season, was finishing conversations episodes later. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he at no point does Carmi acknowledge that and say, "Oh no, that's terrible. Let me take you home tonight and take you dinner tonight." No. He's going to plan something because he's a psycho. Yeah. And Sydney, I love how Sydney is the only support this place has left. Mm-hmm. Because I believe it's Natalie and Richie that are doing the interviews. And this is where we see Richie use that newfound knowledge. That fork has been wrong this whole goddamn time, and she didn't fix it. No, we're not hiring her.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck
are you talking about? And even Natalie's just like, all right.
God damn it.
She's like, okay, well, respect.
And then he starts showing it to Sydney, where he's just like fucking with those Sharpies. And it's just like, even Sydney's like, yeah, I think he's.
But hey, I liked it.
Yep. This is the same episode where Marcus tries to ask Sydney out.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
And it got real weird and awkward.
Yep.
When it always does in these kind of situations.
This ain't a fucking Applebee's where everybody's sucking and fucking each other. Like, this is a goddamn restaurant, okay?
And and I liked the whole ongoing thing of the fire suppression system. I love anything that
builds tension.
That builds tension, and also like any moment with Matty Matheson.
Yeah.
Anytime he's on screen, it's great.
Well, he's just standing there, and Carmen's on the phone with Sydney, and he's talking to her. And he's fucking with the electrical. Zzz, zzz. Don't stop fucking doing that. What the fuck are you doing? God damn it. God damn it. Oh, motherfucker. But there is an important thing that happens in this episode, which kind of throws Carmi off his game. He has a conversation with Oliver Platt's character. And what he's describing a baseball situation. He's talking about the Bartman, which is the most controversial thing in baseball history, if you don't know.
Hey, caramba.
Yeah. The Cubs were on their way to the World Series. A guy hits a foul ball. A Cubs fan reaches up, grabs the ball. The Cubs don't get an out. The other team scores. They lose, and they don't go to the finals to break the curse of the Cubs. They blame this and almost murdered this man over catching a foul ball. How stupid that sounds is exactly how it is.
Yeah.
But the way Oliver Platt describes it is, it's not his fault. It was because blah, blah, blah missed fucking first base. And it was really his fault. But people don't talk about him. They just talk about the fuck up they see. And he's basically telling Carmi, he's like, if you don't focus up on this, you're going to be that guy and get murdered.
Yeah.
And that's a very poignant, like, sports rap. Like, for me, knowing that story kind of hit home. It's like, oh my God, you just told him the most psychological, damning thing you could to a man who's already on the brink of finding happiness. and you basically turned this heroin addict into a heroin addict again. Like, that's basically what he did. Like he mentally broke Carmy.
Yeah.
And that's why Carmy goes down a downward spiral.
Yep, and then rolling into episode 9, the bear is setting up for its soft opening for family and friends only. Sydney feels pressured to impress her father, which that seems to be kind of an ongoing thing, but it winds up working itself out in the end. It never winds up being any sort of major.
Yep.
They never had any sort of blow up. Carmy begins to second guess things, causing him to forget to schedule work on a replacement handle for the walk-in refrigerator, which comes to bite him in the ass later. Natalie informs Carmy that she has invited her mother, which doesn't go over very well.
Exactly, no.
Richie and Natalie see the restaurant is fully booked for 2 weeks, but need to increase reservations in order to stay profitable. Cesario delivers Carmy the official business license, and then Carmy apologizes to Sydney for his lack of focus and gifts her a custom chef's coat. With the team prepared and the restaurant ready to launch, Richie opens the Bear for business.
This had like the biggest like fucking hype moment in the series. Like it is kind of like the whole episode as a whole isn't fun, but it is like a hype moment when they're standing by the door. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
It's literally those 3 hours before opening.
Yeah, it is. It's the build. It's the yes, chef. It's the menu situation. It's just like everybody clap. 1, 2, 3. Yes, chef. It is just like I need a double cheeseburger on the fly. But it is a very intense moment. But it's also like, hey, let's. Another thing he did was in this episode was he showed her the options of food that we find out about Carmy can draw.
Yeah.
And she's like, hold on. Before we talk about this food, you drew all this? And like, she doesn't know Carmy could do that. And it's fucking hilarious. He's like, oh yeah. He just plays it off because he doesn't want to play off. He doesn't want to be like, he's not prideful of what he does. He doesn't think he's good enough, which bites him in the ass as a character, you know, because that's all he's trying to do is prove that he's best enough, but he'll never do that because he's doing it to his goddamn self. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff just going on in the background that really plays ahead into the next episode. But as soon as that door locked, click, let's rock.
Let's do it. Bam, bam, bam.
It's an AC/DC song, I think, ain't it?
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the final episode of the season, The Bear. On Family and Friends night, Richie runs the front of the house while Sydney runs the kitchen. Issues begin to mount and the restaurant is out of forks. Classic. Sydney and Marcus are forced to assist when a line cook disappears and the walk-in fridge handle breaks, trapping Carmy inside.
Yeah. So this, not only is it Friends and Family night, this is the test run night. We need to see how we do as a group, how fast we can move, how good we can move. And the whole time, Richie is writing things down from the front end. Nat, Sugar, whatever, is doing stuff in the back end. But they're all just making notes because this isn't really the one that's going to make or break them. This is the one that's going to fix them. And the next night's going to make or break them because they have to get everything fixed. And then we're ready to rock. And it's a classic. You know, I've been to openers. Like, I worked at a Comedy Zone in my hometown. We built that place up from scratch. Like, we painted the walls, redid the kitchen, did all this work. Yeah. And it's like, all right, guys, you ready to test this out? Fuck, we'll find out. And, you know, I was the cook for the sides. You know, I was making sure all the side items were prepared, prepped, and ready to go, while there were 2 guys doing expediting and cooking. So I know what that's like. It's like, hey, doors are open, motherfucker. Yeah. Reservations start at 8. Good? Fucking find out. And that was our test run for that little restaurant in that little town. But even then, we felt the pressure very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, we have a lot of wait staff who are just pulling stuff. And that's something I kind of noticed real quick. There wasn't a lot of wait. There was no wait staff.
No.
It was Richie, Matheson, and Shug that run a lot of stuff. But they were also having like those new chefs running stuff too. Plus they had the 3 expediters on the side. I want to talk about Josh for a quick second. Josh is the perfect example of a new hire out the gate because they're like, when can you start? Now. You're hired. That's basically where
I figured you meant like, you know, next week.
Yeah, but like he was just, I could start right now. And that's what got him hired. Well, the reason he could start so early, It's because he smokes crack. And I love Marcus. He's like, hey, we need to find Josh. We will. And then Marcus, go find Josh. He goes out back and finds this dude smoking crack. And he's like, it makes me better. It makes me faster. He's like, don't let me go. I'm like, and I love Marcus is like, well, I got to run this by them. I can't fire you. I'm going to run it by them. And the guy's like, fuck.
Yeah.
That guy's an SNL.
Oh,
Perfect
okay.
fucking sketch comedy actor. And I just love seeing him with that weird fucking Joker smile.
But the handle on the fridge door gets broken. Sorry, I'm trying to move this along a little bit. We're at 2 hours now. So the handle on the door snaps. This was the moment I kind of lost it a little bit. Lost the plot some. Because it feels like, I don't know, I've not studied one of these door handles. It feels like someone could have jimmied something in there.
Well, I thought, so every freezer I've been in, because I also have that fear of being stuck in one, has a push knob, which pushes the lock mechanism. And I'm guessing it's broke, because like that's a very important thing that, it's a cooler.
Yeah.
There was a girl that died at a Wendy's not long ago because
I remember that
freezer's like shut and broke. The fuck? Like it didn't make sense.
No. So with Carmi now being trapped inside the freezer, that was the moment I kind of disconnected some. I'm like, okay, well, all right, it's going to be kind of a stressful thing to get him out, and he's going to kind of swoop in last minute and, really pull it through, when something bad goes down. And that did not really happen. So while Carmi is trapped inside, Richie successfully takes over with the expediting, which was awesome to see. Perfect. Loved seeing that moment. Which I figured, like, okay, if we got to throw him in the freezer so Richie gets his moment, cool. As long as Carmi comes back out, we'll be good. Let's see. Pete, Natalie's husband, sees Donna outside, but she refuses to go in, feeling that she does not deserve to witness her children's success. Pete accidentally reveals Natalie's pregnancy to Donna before she leaves.
Fucking Pete. Goddamn Pete.
Fucking Pete.
To quote Carmi, why are you trying to ruin my life?
Yeah. Why are you trying to ruin my life?
All I had to do was put the fucking hammer down. No, you old bitch, I'm dragging you in this goddamn restaurant.
Yeah.
This is happening. That's all he had to say. And all she does that manipulative fucking, just tell me you forgive me so I can leave.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Jamie Lee Curtis, bravo.
Yeah.
You should get an Emmy for this, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaking moment.
And I love Pete trying to keep it together.
That was the moment that almost broke me.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because she's like, what's wrong? And he's basically crying.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, nothing.
You're right. You're perfect. And he's just, up, bringing her up, up. And she's like getting emotional. She's like, oh my God. What's she say? And it's like, this is going to come to a head in a bad way. But at least Christ, we don't see it till next season.
Yeah. But no, that was a real moment for me. Like, that was one of those sobering ones for me where it's like I was getting goosebumps watching, like, when he went back in and like had to realize that like she didn't tell her mom that she was pregnant. Yeah. And like him rationalizing and dealing with that, like, is it a me thing? Is it a her? Is like, doesn't know but can't bring it up, but is like kind of devastated because
she sees it through the window that her daughter's pregnant, and it's just like, that's how she found out.
Yeah.
That's shitty.
It is. And it's like, it's kind of, and he was given like that kicked golden retriever look. Yeah, and that's what hurt about it, because he's one of those just super nice guys.
That's what he is. He's a dog.
Yeah. And it's just like, you don't want to see the golden retriever hurting. No. You don't want to see the kicked dog still going, but you're my master, right? You don't want to see that. And it was a very sad moment.
And then they followed it with another sad moment.
But yeah, then immediately after, with still being trapped in the fridge, Carmi begins to spiral and goes on a monologue about his relationship with Claire has just ruined his focus in the kitchen. And this entire time, he's been warned, hey, Claire's in the dining room. And he's just like, okay, cool, I'll be out there in a little bit. And he's just like, no, go out there now. He's like, I will be out there in a minute. I've got shit going on. Which at that moment, I'm even sitting here going like, my man, he knows what's up. Fucking finish the service, then come out and see your friends. It's like fucking playing a show. Come out and hang out with your friends after you're finished and take your shit off the set. So he knows it's coming, and he winds up still getting trapped in there. And he kind of, this is the part that was kind of sad for me, and it almost kind of felt like a toss away. I've been in moments when I've been just discussing with my guy friends and just getting some stuff off my chest. And sometimes you say some shit like that, but sometimes you say it to get it off your chest to clear your mind so you can think more clearly, rationalize, compartmentalize things, and move forward. And that's really what he was doing. He was feeling stressed out about opening a restaurant, falling madly in love with this girl that's been in his life, basically, you know, on and off for, you know, ever since high school. It's a lot to process all at one time. And he's sitting here going, well, what is the most important? Something's been pulling me away. I don't know. And her reaction to overhearing him doing that in his moment of extreme stress and bewilderment that like the entire service went through and he wasn't there for his own opening night. I feel like all of that was just mishandled so poorly.
Oh, it's a perfect example of out of context because she's only hearing part of it.
I'm talking about the writing.
Oh, no.
Not the situation and her reaction, but just like that's what we gave the character. We locked him in a fridge, and then in his moment of stress, you have his girl leave him because he was just kind of venting and, you know, kind of giving a little bit of mental release. Like
I think it's because it's so raw. Because you got to remember, he's in that freezer for a very long time.
Yeah.
And at first, he doesn't say anything. He's not talking. He's just yelling at what's going on.
Well, and it also has to do with the big blow up with him and Richie too.
Yeah. And while this is happening, the restaurant's running without him. His dream is going forward, whether he likes it or not. And now we have the people he's built up run his dream for him. So immediately, if I told you your band's good, but you're stuck in the green room with the dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But no. Morrison's covering you on the stage.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Fuck, yeah, he's been doing stand up for the last 45 fucking minutes. It's
fucking what?
And like your mind, and you're not saying anything other than get me the fuck out of here. And then just imagine Jerry being like, "Hey man, how's it going?"
Fucking goddamn one, yeah, how's it fucking going? I'm trapped in a goddamn freezer.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's happening.
Exactly. And all of that is fine. And of course he had to have the big blow up between he and Richie, and that worked good. But just, I don't know. I am all for...
It's also he doesn't have awareness.
Well, no, I'm all for the down and out character not really catching the break. You know, it's part of the reason why I dig Peter Parker Spider-Man. No matter how hard he tries, he gets little moments of happiness, but overall, Peter Parker gets the fucking short end of the stick time and time again. But it all feels like it's justified moments of when his life gets the smackdown. It didn't feel like through Carmi's actions he deserved the reaction that was written and the way it was perceived by everyone involved.
I think for me, this was a consequence of him constantly thinking that he can't be happy. This was the consequence of constantly devaluing himself over and fucking over. That when he finally lets it out, people are going to be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Because that's the big problem of the show. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. Ibrahim, why'd you leave? What the fuck? I don't know. It's like, okay, fine, come get back in the house. Yeah. But like, hey, Richie, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck? Hey, I figured it out. I'm good. Let's do this.
He said, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We got it. We figured it out, you know. And they're all managing their shit, but he's just letting it out in a non-constructive way. And he needs to do that. Yeah. Because that's his character flaw, is he doesn't know how to be happy. And this is the result.
Relatable.
But like this is the consequences of not realizing it's okay to be fucking happy. It didn't help that Oliver Platt told him the fucking baseball story, yeah, which ruined his mind. Because I was just like, what the fuck are you telling him?
And it did play through really well. I like the ending of it, where Carmi is playing a voicemail that he missed from Claire from earlier in the day, where she confessed that she loved him. That was a nice little gut punch to it all.
This is also the shoe dropping on the whole cast.
Yeah.
Every little thing, like Cindy realizing she has this weird PTSD that she needs to work toward.
Yep.
Because, hey, set the clock 5 minutes. Richie, you're here. Because I can't do it because I'm having a fucking panic. Everyone's dealing with their shit. Marcus's mother died.
Well, yeah, that's what this part was going up here is Carmi's hearing the voicemail from Claire as he's finally getting freed from the freezer. Marcus receives a gift from Luca, and then it kind of pans down to see numerous panicked missed calls from his mother's nurse, and then Sydney feels the embodiment by the successful opening night. And this was the moment I immediately had a problem with the show. I should be saying, and episode 11, yada yada. I'm all for leaving on a cliffhanger, but this is like literally like the bread was 3/4 done. There's one more episode here that you can still leave on cliffhangers and set up for another season.
Yeah.
It really felt like I'm just missing an episode. Like production just wrapped too soon, because I don't feel like having an entire season break and us opening with Marcus learning about his mother, or Marcus dealing with his mother, and then opening with Carmi dealing with the Claire issue, and then Sydney dealing with the restaurant. That just feels too misjointed, unless they're going to literally pick up the next day or immediately after service, which that would also be weird for them to try to film a year later. It feels like there's just too much that was happening for them to cut it for it to be the next season.
I don't know. I think my idea of what's going to happen next is going to be a time jump.
And that's what I'm kind of saying. If we're going to do a time jump, I would have really liked one more episode. An episode of Carmi having to deal with the repercussions of his outburst. Sydney dealing with maybe imposter syndrome a little bit. Richie maybe getting a little bit too big of a head. Marcus learning about his mom. And them ending on all of that.
You know,
ending like a big music montage, like, you know, in Marcus on like a really sad place. Maybe he leaves again.
I could see, like I said, I could see this playing out in maybe like a 5-year jump or like a 2-year jump. 1 year. Let's say 1 year. But it was just this week they announced the season 3. So I can understand the trepidation.
And I'm very excited about that.
So everything going on, the writers, it's like, yeah, I could see why there's like, hey guys, let's put it on hold. Let's leave the cliffhanger. I think it does build, like, now you're really going to watch season 3 because now you're invested. Yeah. So I think the cliffhanger is just too big.
Yeah, like am I crazy? It really does feel like we could have gotten one more episode, been satisfied, and still left on a good enough cliffhanger to be interested in season 3. This
is also the problem with shows now compared to when we were kids, where it was like 20 episode seasons.
Yeah.
It's a 30-minute show. This should be 10 more fucking episodes.
Yeah.
Because it's not an hour-long series like it should be.
Well, but also it's like, okay, I'll use like an action thing as an example. Imagine if all season you were building up to an explosion. And literally, the end of the season is the boom. You were waiting for the boom. Well, now you want to see a little bit of the aftermath, and then we can take a break of the story and then move forward. This ended on the boom. And then goes, tune in next year for the conclusion. It's like, no, I need like, where did the dust settle? Where did this debris fall?
This actually kind of happened in feature-length film with the Hobbits, because like the Hobbit second movie ends with the dragon destroying everything, and that's where it stops.
Right.
Third movie is when they killed the dragon, and like the first 15 minutes. And then it's the battle of 5 armies or whatever that you could do, the aftermath story.
And see, all of that just feels like a little cheap.
Yeah, it can be, but
this doesn't take away from how great the season is, but it was just me sitting here going like, I just saw the kaboom. Don't make me wait a year to see where the rubble landed. Like, I'll be satisfied seeing where some of the pieces landed, and then like what do we do after the explosion?
I think it also
the
depends.
explosion is the important thing. Yes, now show me what happens afterward.
I think it's also like how they're going to tell the story in season 3, because I have seen series that do leave a big cliffhanger, and then the season opener ends with the scene from the last episode.
Yes.
And that is fucking horrific when you do shit like that, because I'm like, well, now I gotta watch to find out how it started. You know what I'm saying? Like Hannibal did this with season 2. Like, hey, how does Hannibal season 2 start? Hannibal Lecter's killing an FBI agent. That's his best friend. Well, no. They're best friends. Why would he do that? It's like,
watch the season
and
to
then
find out.
it shows like half the fight, and then it's like 1 year earlier. God fucking damn it! Like, and then you watch the progression of their hate build.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's what's going to happen when they're at the grave of their mom, and then it's just like builds and builds until we see her die.
Honestly, yeah, I could
High
see
five
that
to
happen.
me.
And you know, and they could do that with giving us one more fucking episode anyway.
FX, you fickety bitch.
But no,
You're gonna really hate the Rescue Me reboot.
don't tease me like that.
Dennis
I don't
Leary
want
just
that
getting
to
his ass
happen.
kicked by new
I don't
firefighters.
know that was a perfect series. That's one of those. It ended at the right time. It ended the right way. Don't bring it back. Do not do it, because I'm actually starting to rewatch the series again too.
I'll be back to Sopranos.
Oh man, but you got a nice thick episode of
You're
the
welcome.
Couch Potatoes this week. Yes, we finally finished watching The Bear, and with both of us having kitchen experience and, you know, not so Partridge Family-esque lives, felt like we kind of related to this show a little bit in more ways than maybe we would like to admit. But for this episode of the Couch Potatoes, I've been Alex, and Chris, do you have any sort of final thoughts for us?
I'll be quick. So the alien situation is really kind of dynamic, and like go back to the 3 chickens thing real quick. So like,
Oh, goddamn it, no!
You've been listening to the Something Good Network. If you liked what you heard, you can follow us on Instagram and check out the other great shows on the network. Link is in the episode description.